Canelo Alvarez has some choices. Ooh, everybody got choices. Jermall Charlo, Demetrius Andrade, PBC, or DAZN. We're going to find out in short order. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. The future is now with the channel, the latest and greatest. We working, we cooking. Now, this is a follow-up video. Make sure you guys subscribe for the latest and greatest. I talked about this, but we gonna go back. You know, it's been kind of a slow news cycle, so we getting real sharp behind the scenes. ESPN reported sources Canelo Alvarez ponders bouts with either Jermall Charlo or Dimitri Bivol, and maybe even a trilogy with "Hell no, guys, ain't Max is back with this pack of zigzags in his bag." Triple G, Gennady Golovkin. Now, I can tell you off rip, I don't really fancy the Triple G fight. Some fights in boxing, if you wait too long, it no longer serves the same purpose. Like, for example, years ago, when my channel was younger, Mikey Garcia versus Yuriorkis Gamboa was a thing because of where both fighters were. Mikey Garcia was undefeated. Gamboa, I believe he was undefeated. And this was a fight at that time that boxing was clamoring for. Also, in or around that time was Adrian Broner and Gamboa. People wanted to see, because if you lived it and you remember and you were an avid boxing fan back then, you will know that Gary Russell Gamboa and Adrian Broner all really started, you know, being popularized around the same time. So people wanted to see Gary Russell Jr. versus Adrian Broner. They wanted to see Broner versus Gamboa or Gary Russell versus Gamboa, etc. And none of these fights happened. Fast forward to the future, Mikey Garcia, he's losing to random no-namers like Sandal, and he's already lost to Errol Spence Jr. And Broner has been pretty inactive. Gamboa keeps losing to the Gervonta Davises, and there was a fight where he quit on the stool. He lost to Devin Haney, you know, pulled out of the Chris Colbert fight. There's a lot going on, you know. So Gary Russell just lost against Mag Sayo of Manny Pacquiao. I want to, it's up to my promoter, I believe, right? So the point I'm making is very simple. A lot can change if you don't strike while the iron is hot in the world of boxing. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, but for that reason, the Gennady Golovkin fight really doesn't sound that appetizing to me. I think because you have to just put this in perspective, or as they say, put this in your pipe and smoke it. HBO has been out of boxing at this point for several years, and before they got out of boxing, their last pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken, was Canelo versus Triple G Part 2. Now, put that all together. HBO's been out of the boxing sport for multiple years, and the last pay-per-view that they had was Canelo versus Triple G Part 2, the rematch. So that goes to show you how long it's been since Triple G and Canelo actually fought, because that was HBO's last pay-per-view fight, and they've been out of business in the boxing business for years. So I can't wait. You know, I want to see. I think there's a lot of pressure for Canelo to do the right thing. I think people got a taste of Canelo back in the limelight with a big event, and that was against Caleb Plant on PBC. So to go from he almost did 1 million, I'm sure those are the best numbers that Canelo has done in recent memory. And to go from those type of numbers to what I believe it would be if he were to fight Dimitri Bivol on DAZN, on the app that not that many people have, especially right now. You got to look at this month in general of January is been a pretty slow month. It's been a slow news week, as I stated earlier. So at the end of the day, imagine the lack of traction that an app that hasn't really put any mega fights on has right now. I mean, they're at what has to be a standstill, because throughout not just DAZN, but in boxing in general, you know, it's been a lot of people haven't unveiled their best offerings for 2022. We don't know what best fights are coming up, and I would say it will probably pick up, but at this moment, DAZN really has no traction. You know, the best calendar fight that they had just got canceled again, and that was Chocolatito versus Estrada. You know, and now they're saying it's going to be in a replacement opponent because somebody's sick or whatever the reason is. And they had the fight. I forgot why it got canceled previously. So it's going to be all eyes on Canelo. He's a big figure in the sport. Payday. You want payday. I know that. Right? He's a big figure, and he has a lot of options to weigh out. But it goes without saying that Jermall Charlo is a way bigger fight, you know, and I gotta talk about this, and I'm probably gonna make a separate video about this. In fact I will, so come back to the channel. But I gotta talk about how fake some of the Canelo fans are, because no matter what Canelo decides, they go with it. When people like myself are requesting and clamoring for a fight with Canelo Alvarez and Charlo, there's all this resistance. And then now that he's an option name, now all of a sudden those same detractors and resistors, now if Canelo does choose Charlo, they'll give Canelo credit. You know, people said, oh, I'm glad the Caleb Plant fight fell apart last September because I prefer the Bivol fight. So we'll see how fake the Canelo fans decide to be, a lot of them, when Canelo decides, because either way, I have a feeling that all these fights will be approved by the Canelo committee. And I'm not a people pleaser. You know, I'm not here for that. I'm here for boxing. I'm here to talk and give my honest assessments of the game. The bottom line, all fights are not made equally. All fights are not created equally. I'm not saying I don't want to see people eat and get their paychecks and things like that, but you can't tell me that a Dimitri Bivol fight with his profile and Canelo is a bigger fight. Yes, it could be tricky. It could be crafty. Bivol, he can fight. He's a solid fighter. He's a solid fighter. But I'm talking about the magnitude. Canelo said he wants the quote unquote Mexican days, Cinco de Mayo weekend and things like that. The magnitude of a fight like that, it doesn't hit the same. You know, when you drink that soda and it's crisp, like the McDonald's Sprite machine, and it hit the back of your throat, pause, and it just crispy, you like, Certain fights hit like that, and Dimitri Bivol versus Canelo is not one of them. Let me know what you guys think. We'll see who Canelo decides. Like I said, there's going to be pressure for him. He says, the fans say, oh, your boy Charlo will get it and all this and that. So let's see if Canelo decides on Charlo. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. And I'm out. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation.